I started to fly fish when I was young. I was maybe 10 years old. And then I stopped around 16, 18, 20, maybe somewhere. I moved to Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, and lived an urban life for 10, 12 years. And then I don't remember why, but I started to fish again and kind of really got into it hardcore. But I didn't build any rods. Well, since I was an architect already by then, I started to become interested in the design of fly rods, and I started to collect older fly rods and look at them, and I started to build fly rods because, I mean, it's a fun thing to do. I deal with a lot of same issues when I build rods, like when I'm making a house. Function and performance, the material itself, and ergonomy, and also how to make joints between two materials. And a fly rod is a very basic construction, actually. You have the blank with all these small guides attached to it, and then you have the reel seat where you attach the reel. And there is a saying from the 60s in architecture, kind of playful, that all architecture begins with the joint. This is one of the most interesting parts of the fly rod, in my opinion, to attach the reel and make it in a proper way. I mean, it's minimalistic style, and I try to let the materials speak for themselves, and every function should be self-explaining in the rod. For me, the ergonomy, the grip shape and everything is very important, and it shouldn't be fancy, but it must look good. So, I mean, most of my customers, they are in Japan and in the US, and they always refer to it as a typical Scandinavian style, and in a way, I guess it is. I have my eyes open, and wherever I go, I mean, it can be something I've in a container, or it can be something that I've on a flea market. I'm always looking for nicest pieces of wood, or I think it's rather fun to work with cheap materials. I think rubber is nice. It comes in different colors, so you can have this one, for example, is a translucent rubber, polyurethane rubber, which is very difficult to work with, but it has this nice translucent quality, which is very beautiful, and this is an industrial material. Well, I think the American fly fishing culture is the one that I feel most related to. I would say that the American tradition when it comes to fly fishing is where I stand, and also, of course, the Japanese tradition. The craftsmanship is amazing, so I have to say Japan as well. Everything has been done already, which is, I think that's kind of neat in a way. You can do it again and do it in a contemporary way, and this inspires me very much, the tradition and the heritage, and to use that as an inspiration, but still try to make something new of it. Yeah, well, I think they reflect my personality, and I think that's the most important thing. A lot of people, they copy things that they see, and I mean, of course, sometimes I pick bits and pieces from history and from other guys as well, but it's important for me not to make a blueprint of someone else's work. Well, there are a few gaps in the market, actually, if you're looking for certain kinds of tapers. I'm working on a parabolic taper now, which means a taper that has a soft spot or a hinge in the butt section, and then you have a stiffer mid and a stiffer tip. So when you get a certain amount of line in the air, the hinge in the butt section will start to work, so you get like a kick in the delivery cast. I like to fish in the nature where it's quiet, where I'm not disturbed, and cell phone service it doesn't have to be there, the cell phone, so I mean, it's the situation to find the restful place, and you fish for a while, and you step out of the water, and maybe you can go to sleep and go back and fish again. So it's really up to, and also friendship is important for me to fish with someone, a good friend of mine. Both fishing and rod building, both these things, they mean the same thing. It's a way to be within myself and relax in a way. I mean, the quietude is very important for me.